Today on the Paul Harrell program, we're going to talk about food stamps, specifically over 40 million people, according to reports, are set to lose access to their food stamps because of the government shutdown. What will that mean about how we shop, about those of us who are not on EBT? What's it going to mean? Are the grocery stores about to become one of the potentially most dangerous places in America? We're going to talk about that, as well as President Donald Trump inking some pretty giant trade deals overseas while he was in Malaysia. We've got all of that, everything in between. The Paul Harrell program starts right now.
The Paul Harrell program.
All right, folks, we really appreciate it. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Rob Spencer's with us. Rob.
Paul, it's an honor to be on the show, as always, on this Monday morning. Rainy here in Arkansas, but lots of news to get to. Of course, dealing with this government shutdown in day whatever it is at this point, 27, 28, whatever it is. We've got impending doom, and that is, rightfully so. There are going to be a lot of individuals who are going to be expecting their SNAP benefits or hoping for their SNAP benefits who aren't going to get it. And, these individuals are going to have children and all of that stuff. And so what's going to happen? We're going to talk about that over the next hour. What will be the fallout of that? And then, on a more positive side, Trump just doing what he does, the art of the deal, out there deal making, and settled just, officially another peace agreement signed. And then, of course, what we're seeing here with the trade deals with China, you got the two largest economies on the globe here. We don't need them going at each other. And I'm sure that that's what Xi Jinping and Donald Trump are, kind of coming to grips with. And it looks like there's an end to sight, which will benefit our farmers. We've talked about that previously on the show. Lots of positive news to get to, lots of negative with this SNAP benefits. I don't know about you, but I was a little bit surprised that the number was over 40 million.
It's insane. I was too. I couldn't believe it. Matter of fact, there's a chart that I pulled for this. Hang on, we'll get right to the chart because it shows food stamp growth over time. Oh, and it's in my first article here. I want you to look at this right here. This is from the conservativetreehouse.com. This is food stamp participation. You go all the way back to February of 2007. We're at 26 million. And you just see over the years how it has just continued to creep up. I had no idea it was I think the number is 42 million.
Yeah, we're almost doubling, or we're at the very least we're 20 million more people.
Yeah.
And as our population increased by that same percentage, I don't believe that it has.
No, it has not. And, the traditional, right versus left paradigm here is that able-bodied adults shouldn't be on this type of welfare. And so the idea that there's 42 million, households that are just physically unable to work for themselves and need this charity, which is essentially what it is. Forced charity, because it comes from, taxpayers like you. I don't know, and this is the thing, if it does go violent, I told my wife, when I saw the headlines, I immediately went, because I think in Arkansas, the food stamps get distributed here in Arkansas, but I think between the 4th and the 13th, 12th, 13th of every month, something like that. But I immediately went to my wife and I said, hey, when this kicks in, just for your safety, I don't want you going to the grocery store unless I'm there, or I'll just go get the groceries, is what I've told her, because I just think it's unpredictable. When you have people, there's a lot of people that are upset about it, complaining about it, a lot of videos. We've got some of them.
Yeah.
One video, this black lady's claiming she's going to cannibalize and eat white people if she goes in and her card is declined.
Oh, my.
And so you just kind of, you don't know what it's going to be like. We have no idea. It's a powder keg.
We're already seeing just a massive amount of theft from grocery stores due to, whatever it is. You want to call it economic hard times, or just want to call it a cultural thing, where we're seeing these grocery stores now have, and CVS and, all of these pharmacies, everything's locked up these days. And it's locked up for a reason, because there has been so much theft. I mean, we've seen grocery stores close down. And So what is that going to do? So like if you're, somebody talked about the inner city of Chicago, there were the grocery stores that were, neighborhood grocery stores have closed down. And so now you used to be able to walk to the grocery store and they accepted EBT, and now there's no grocery store and you have no EBT. What are you going to turn to? And you and I were talking about this in a text message here, like, what's the most likely scenario? Like, how nuclear of an option are we going to get here where these people are desperate? Some would say desperate. Some would say, okay, well, maybe there's a reckoning that needs to happen here, like because you're an able-bodied person who should be working, yet you're living off the government.
And if it does go violent, does that prove that this person is actually able-bodied?
Well, that's true. That's true. Like, hey, there you go. But let's be honest and let's be real here. I know we are conservatives. We're much a government stay out of this. There are a lot of these 42 million people who need this. There are a lot of 42 million people who are, a single mom who just married the wrong guy and he had a change of mind and left her with 3 kids. And now she's trying to figure out her life, and she's trying to do all the stuff and get back on her feet, but she's at this betweener time. We also have elderly people who maybe chose their retirement and their Social Security and all of that stuff. Maybe they live in an area where it's just really expensive, and that Social Security is nowhere near enough to pay all of their bills. So they're on EBT. You've got disabled people, all of these things that are on this program, which those individuals I'm talking about were what the program was meant for. What we see is that it's fraught with fraud, right? And there are so many individuals where, we're supporting your obesity.
Yeah.
There was a woman who she was going through all of her, food stamp haul. That's what she called it. Like they hauled in all of this food. And it was, cornflakes and potato chips and all of this stuff. And I don't know if the regulations where they've changed where you're allowed to do this or not have taken effect, but you see all of the, and she's like, oh, this was all free stuff. And her and every one of her children are obese, and you're just like, oh, this is not for you. You are just living off of the taxpayer dollars here. Yeah. And then folks like me and you who work hard every day, go into the grocery store, and we're choosing a cut of meat. I know you're a big smoker of meats here, where you're choosing a cut of meat, and you have to look at it and say, all right, well maybe I'm going to go with this chuck steak over here as opposed to this ribeye.
I mean, the price of brisket is insane right now.
Right, it's outrageous.
And to your point, I kind of wonder if with the RFK stuff, I think that was really good a couple of months ago when he put in the regulations. Hey, we're not going to use this for these ultra processed foods. Yeah. But there's a problem. Is that if you've got consumers or welfare recipients in this case that don't know how to cook.
Yeah.
I was like, well, there's going to be people that need to learn how to cook rice and beans, and actually, like, when you go to the store, you don't just think, oh, it's got to have a nice flashy brand on it. No, you can get a bag of rice, you can get beans, you can get meat and prepare it yourself. Mm-hmm. But if everything you're eating is frozen dinners or Jimmy Dean sausage and biscuit, which is, again, ultra-processed meat as well, biscuits, all that, it's terrible for you.
Not even sure it's real meat at that point. Yeah, and so you've got these individuals going up there, and they're trying to get, like, this Hostess snack cake, whatever.
Yeah, the Christmas trees. What are those? The Christmas tree.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, those are incredible. So, but if I go to purchase that, like because my situation in life allows me to purchase that. These individuals who are on EBT, this is essentially free money, and they're restricted. We've seen some videos. I think you played it one day there where like, oh, that's not allowed anymore. That's not allowed anymore. And it's like, why even have it then? to feed your family actual food, because you're trying to get like these Hostess cupcakes. Yep. You're trying to check that out. And so someone brought up a great point. You can buy cake mix, you can buy eggs, and you can buy milk. So you can make it You just can't buy the ready,
Yep, that's exactly right.
ready to go Hostess cupcake. And so those are some changes that are made. So that's one issue. The other issue is that we've got some individuals who are expecting SNAP benefits, coming up, who legitimately do need it. Like we're talking about malnutritioned individuals. Now, granted, I'm going to tell you this, of the 42 million, I think if we did an actual X-ray of that 42 million, how many actually need it? And we're going to be shocked about how low that number is.
Yeah, exactly right. It would be absolutely, we'd be shocked at how the American taxpayers are being fleeced. I got another graph for you that's even crazier, and Grok says that it's real. This is nuts. Somebody by the name of Zarathustra or whatever. Look at this. This says food stamps by ethnicity. And if this is accurate, which Grok said that it was, I mean, if you look at the black population, it's 24.9%. But look at all of these people from other countries, or I guess, I mean, I don't know if they're all immigrants or HB1. I don't know. But that's kind of crazy.
Okay,
so if you think about this.
So this is percent. Okay, so this, just so I understand this graphic, this is saying that if you are in, I'm just going to go with, I don't know, Puerto Rican. All right. So if you're in this country and you are Puerto Rican, 25.2, so that's 1/4. 1/4 of your population is on SNAP benefits. That's what that's saying.
Okay, yeah, because if you added all these up, it's well over 100.
Sure, yeah, because that's, okay, so you look at, all right, so the white, which is really low down there, the Italian, the Indian. So, excuse me. So, of all the white people in the United States, 8% of the population is on SNAP benefits. What are we going to talk about with the Afghan and Somalis?
I don't.
The Iraqis, who are, if half of the population
We've got a problem.
is on SNAP benefits, why are you allowed in this country?
That's a great point. That's a great point. So Steve Dace of the Steve Dace Show says, Yo, Grok, can you verify this? Because if this data is true, it is absolutely national suicide. It means we purposely imported a bunch of people from countries we share no common fundamental values with just to come here and vote for Democrats to destroy us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you look at the black population. That means 75%, that's 3 out of 4 of every African Americans are not on SNAP benefits.
Right.
But yet, when we're talking about this SNAP benefit, what you see online, who are we pointing?
That's true. Well, they're definitely vocal right now.
Right. And so we're seeing these African Americans upset about this stuff, but 3 out of 4 African Americans are doing what they're supposed to do, right? And of that 25%, how many African Americans are actually need it, right? And I would say, there's a percentage of that, but how many of them are grown-ass dudes who do not work?
Yep. Who, I mean, it's just what it is. You turn 18 and it's like, hey, now it's my time. I'm going to go down. I'm going to apply for all the benefits I can get. This is what Grok said. Yes, data from the Center for Immigration Studies based on Census Bureau surveys show 59% of non-citizen households use major welfare programs like SNAP versus 39% for native-born households.
What are we doing?
That is a travesty.
What are we doing, Paul?
So that brings me to what's the reaction going to be? Here's the lady who is saying that she's going to eat white people if this happens.
I just wanted to come real fast just to make this video, just to make something very, very clear to the white man. Black Americans do not care about your government shutdown, and Black Americans do not care about you taking away our EBT and our government assistance because Black Americans...
Okay, I want to listen to this lady, but I want our viewers to realize this woman is not talking about 3/4 of her population. She's rambling on with her BS because I know it's coming here.
Oh, it is. Yes. Yeah. She wants to eat you, Rob. I'm not kidding.
You know what?
She wants a cracker sandwich.
She
wants Rob between 2 pieces of bread.
I'm 6'4", 260. She better bring her. She better bring her A game here if she wants to.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
But the point that I was just trying to make is, you're speaking for a quarter of your population, and you're really not, because a quarter of there's probably some people that are like, listen, I'm just a 65-year-old grandma here who I don't have much in Social Security, and I live in this area, whatever. Like that's why I get food stamps, so that I can feed myself, right? So you're speaking for less than 25% of your population. So black people, don't get offended by this crazy ass woman. She is speaking some stuff here.
Well, we have multiple crazy women.
Down, and black Americans do not care about you taking away our EBT and our government assistance, because black Americans never depended on the American government to take care of us and feed us, because we never could.
That's obviously
we were
not
never
true.
able to depend on the government, in spite of what you may say and what you may try to force us to believe. So you can sit back and you can mock, you can laugh, and you can think that you're about to starve us to death. But I'm here to let you know that we are going to eat regardless, even if we have to hunt you animals down and roast and eat you. The delectable crackers and cheese. We will make it happen if we have to. Trust and believe me. And if it takes this government shutdown for black people to finally come from under the government and understand that we don't need to be paying our taxes into this government, what we really need to be doing is taking care of one another, buying land, and growing our own food and building our own nation. If this government shutdown and starvation is what it's going to take, then let the party begin. It's black power, baby, and we rise.
So there's so much there.
It's a lot to unpack.
But
there,
when people,
Paul,
when people tell you who they are, you need to believe them. It's probably not a bad idea for people. The only thing I sympathize with is the desire to go and grow your own food and get your own land.
Sure. But let's be honest. If you're on food stamps, you're not buying your own land.
No, you're not. No, you are not, Rob. But this is why, and this is not the only one. There's another one. Let me just go ahead and we'll get these out of the way right now.
I'm going to tell y'all straight up like this.
Oh, God.
I just got that text that the link is definitely cut the off for November. Y'all better stay the out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you want motherfuckers start looting, it's going to happen. Before my kids go broke in this bitch like Jock, I'm going to be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my up, swipe my link card. As soon as that say, ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the out. And I'm going to have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your ass so hard, you going to think a Jet 2 holiday hit your ass if you think I ain't finna walk out that store. And please follow me to that car. If you feeling motherfucking froggy, bitch, you ain't going to make it back to your motherfucking position at that fucking Walmart store. I'm telling you. You want to take some link? Like, I don't be taking already. Watch this. It's okay.
Paul, how you find this? Okay.
Well,
did you see her?
I edited that one down for the.
Okay. Did you see her at?
No. What was her at? I missed it.
Bugatti girl, Tina. Hey, Tina, you got a Bugatti, and you griping about not having your food stamps? You don't.
Yeah.
You don't, and you spelled it wrong. It's Bugatti. You spelled it B-O-O, like boo, Bugatti. Yeah. Okay. I like how she panned to the refrigerator and it showed the
Doritos. Or
the
whatever.
variety pack.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We get those when we go like camping or something like that. You get that variety pack so everybody can just kind of grab. I'll take Doritos or I'll take Cheetos or whatever. That's what she got up there. Okay. Ma'am, respectfully. And I haven't missed any meals, but that lady has not missed any meals.
No, she has not.
And I suspect that her children have not either, right?
No, you're exactly right. So, but anyway, it's videos like that have got me thinking, okay, what happens when you have 40 million Americans that don't have the access to food? What are they going to do? are we in a? I mean, I think we're bare minimum in a. She's telling you right there, I'm going to go steal it all. I'm just going to steal it all. Okay. So I was talking to a friend about this earlier today, and I said, and he said, I'm hearing that grocery stores, if it gets bad enough, are just going to shut their doors and only do online. And then I thought, because you also have people. There's other videos saying that if they can't steal from inside the store, they'll just try to rob you on the way out, rob you of your groceries on the way out.
So, like, to your point, you're telling your wife Megan not to go to the grocery store. You're saying
basically right now,
right?
Yeah.
Don't go to the grocery store because you would be worried that somebody might attack her.
Yeah, or she's just going to be put in a situation that where there's potential rioting, potential looting, potential all that stuff. You just never know. Outright armed robbery could happen. I mean, you don't know. So, matter of fact, I'm carrying. I mean, my concealed carry is normally a little smaller. I decided to pull out a little bit more.
Yeah, the big dog.
Yeah, the 9mm instead of the 380 for the foreseeable future. It's a little bit more uncomfortable to wear, but I mean, I'm taking this seriously because I legitimately think even in Arkansas, and I think it's potentially going to be really, really bad.
Well, and to your point there, that this could be chaotic in these grocery stores, and it may be just one-off. It may just be a one-off here or there. But what we're talking about is, November 1st. What happens in November? Thanksgiving, right? So a lot of these individuals that are going to spend these EBT benefits are going to be purchasing, stuff for Thanksgiving. So there's a negative effect with that, and you just say, you're destroying my holiday, you're destroying my Thanksgiving, and so like maybe all bets are off with it. I don't know that that's the mentality of it, but I can tell you this, they're not the only two that feel the same way. Now maybe that one girl with the hoodie on is the only one that's threatening to eat us.
She could be an extreme example.
I would say she's an extreme example. But I think the second video is more likely. And
Yes.
you and I were texting about that stuff. I don't know that there's going to be murders and cannibalism, but there very much could be, and I would expect some thefts to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up cruising out of that grocery store. So what collateral damage is going to be left? I don't know, but I can tell you this. The Senate needs to pass the bill, the continuing resolution
This is a good point.
that the House sent over, because if you truly care about people, and Chuck Schumer has said for every day that this goes on, this is good for us. Mike Johnson addressed that today and said, I bet he wish he hadn't said that.
Yeah.
Because it's not good.
No, it's not. And here's a really good test. Who is really going to get the blame for this? If they don't get in, allegedly there are reserves. So they allegedly they could get into some reserve money to fund this food stamps for November. They're saying they're not going to do that. The reports are they're not going to do that because they need it for potential natural disaster.
USDA. USDA. So some states are. Now I'm told that Glenn Youngkin came out and said that the Commonwealth of Virginia will fund this stuff, but the governor of Maryland, far leftist, said we're going to demand that the federal government do what they're supposed to do. And you're just like, okay, wait a minute. You see, we're at a stalemate.
Yeah.
So is the federal government going to do it? Probably not. And you've told the citizens of Maryland it ain't happening.
Yeah. So it'll be an interesting test in terms of who gets the blame for this? How smart are people? Is your average food stamp recipient going to blame Trump? I mean, maybe, maybe not. Both sides right now are saying the shutdown is affecting the Democrats' popularity. The Democrats then say, no, it's the Republicans. But, I mean, what I'm hearing on my bubble, which I'm understandably in a bubble, is that, no, the Democrats are getting blamed for this right now.
Can you imagine that if this shutdown ends, could you like if 27 days ago or whatever it is, could you have imagined that the end of the shutdown was because of food stamps?
No,
it would not. TSA, not our military, because let's be honest, nobody cares about the military, and that's unfortunate,
right?
Because they take for granted the men and women who serve faithfully and courageously, you know, and but they're just thrown aside because there are current military members, current military enlistees, people who are in the military who are on government assistance as well. That right there it's got to stop. Why, if you sign up to potentially die for your country, you shouldn't have to sign up for food stamps as well. And there are a certain percentage.
Well, we got to pay the Somalis. You know, we got to give the benefits to the Somalis.
I've never seen that graphic, and honestly, I would be like in disbelief if you would have told me that without seeing the graphic. Because I believe that most Americans would as well.
I was in disbelief too, and honestly, I would have dismissed it had we didn't have the fact check there.
Yeah. Why the hell do you have Somalis coming into the country if half of them are on government assistance? And it doesn't just stop with food stamps, Paul.
Oh, it's everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
They're signing up for every sort of government incentive and program that is available.
And so how does this affect illegals? How does this affect illegals from, South America, Central South America? Could this potentially, if it does go into effect, could you see more self-deportations? I don't know. I mean, we've already seen a lot of that this year. Just a thought, but the idea that once you get here, you get Social Security benefit. Like Elon Musk, he exposed it all with Doge, that they had a sample section of people being registered to vote, given Social Security, given IRS refunds. Apparently, there's some way to get IRS refunds when you haven't even worked.
How was that even possible? It makes no sense.
Well, again, it was according to
Musk,
and
you get You get Medicaid. There was that the person who came out and said that she was a front desk receptionist at a clinic in Mississippi. I think I might have talked about this on the show. And she said that a person came in. She was asking all the questions. They said they'd been in the country for 5 days. 5 days. And they had a Medicaid card.
Wow.
How is that possible? How is that possible? Because Medicaid is one of the biggest slush funds for fraud that we have. We see it in California, but it applies to pretty much every state, red or blue.
100%. I'm sorry.
Where'd you find that, Paul?
I don't know. Some guy sent it to me. No, Rob sent this to me.
I saw that on the TikTok, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Disney and Pixar.
Y'all better not be touching my bonnet.
Meet Sharkeisha.
As of today, your benefits have been terminated. What? Who gonna feed 8 miles now? Me?
When the shark government cuts her off,
I gotta get a job? Oh, you out your mind.
she'll have to swim into the working world.
Yeah, the smoke alarm beep is I can't get over the smoke alarm beep, man. That's the best part.
That was honestly that made the video.
Yeah, it did.
But here's what we know, based off of the graphic. It's not black people. I mean, a quarter of them, 75% of them are not Sharkeisha. Okay.
But Sharkeisha is going to be there, though. That's the thing.
She's going to be there.
And is going to be at the grocery store. And that's why I'm saying, public service announcement. Do what you want to do, but I am just highly recommending in my household that there needs to be an armed male here coming up if this actually goes through to accompany your family at the grocery store. I think it's a necessity.
I do agree with you that is true. And then I also want to speak to any male who has been on EBT and it wasn't a momentary thing because something happened, like you got laid off and you're like, I got these kids, we got to do something until I can get back, to the job force or whatever. If you are a man who sits at home and collects money from the government, whether it be through EBT or disability, although you are not disabled whatsoever, right? You do that, and you griping right now because SNAP is being cut off, and you're all upset about it. Let me just tell you, if you're that kind of man, you're not a man anyway. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you to just go find your manhood somewhere. Go find it. Because if you are relying on the government to take care of you, and I'm not talking about a short-term solution because life happens, man. Life is hard. I'm talking about a prolonged life situation where you are living off of the government. You are letting these chumps pay their taxes and just take care of you and your family, and you want to go around spreading your seed and having all of these kids, but you can't financially support them. You're not a man. And you need to grow up. You need to grow up. You need to have a long look in the mirror, and you need to say, this life is all I've got on this planet, and this is unacceptable. I'm not going to let the government decide whether I can feed my family or not.
Very well said, Rob. Here's another aspect of this. Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen Report says that if SNAP were cut off in the United States, Walmart's U.S. stores would have a negative operating margin.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
SNAP is literally what makes Walmart profitable. Might want to short Walmart stock if you're going to, if we're going to stay shut down. This is incredible. I mean, we've come across variations of this statistic before. I think it was several months ago when we were debating the Farm Bill or something. I'm not really sure what, or the Big Beautiful Bill or whatever. But this is crazy to think about. And I want you to think about 42 million people at $500 a month. Let's just say, I mean, some people, get $300. Some people get $2,000. It kind of depends on your kids. How many kids you have, that sort of thing. Can you imagine the amount of money that we're talking about? How many billions of dollars for the month of November is going to be sucked out of not just Walmart? Walmart's the biggest recipient of food stamps, but all of the other ones, Kroger, Aldi, Trader Joe's. I mean, you're talking about a huge... And so then the other question that comes up is, if it wasn't for SNAP, would we be paying the high prices that we're paying? Would prices be lower for us if it wasn't for SNAP? Did they have an incentive? If they've got they've got guarantees or a level of guaranteed customer base where the government is funding these cards everywhere, that may be a reason why prices are so expensive.
Why are you allowed to buy name brand if the off brand is cheaper? Okay, so I'm going to go with Kellogg's Corn Flakes versus Great Value Corn Flakes. Okay. Number one, you get more in that bag of Great Value or whatever it's called. You get more cornflakes in there. You're going to get less, but they don't care because it's not their money, right? And they say, oh, well, it just tastes different. Sometimes, every once in a while it does, but for the most part, it's the exact same stuff.
Yep, same ingredients.
Same ingredients. It's the same company. It's the same company, Paul. They're going to they just slap a different label on it. And they know that that somebody's gonna want that name brand stuff. So why is there not if a national brand is, if you're trying to buy Kellogg's or, Jif peanut butter or something and Great Value, and we also used to have like these small grocery stores that had like Always Save, Best Choice, these off-brand foods. Like, why is SNAP not restricted to that? And somebody would say, well, you're dictating what they can buy. It's not your money.
Exactly. Like that when you apply for it, you should cede some autonomy, right? You're saying I can't do it. So guess what? You get, back in the day, it was government cheese.
Yeah.
I know, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what was always told to me. That the cafeteria, when I was in public school, in elementary school, the cafeteria mac and cheese was made with government cheese. Yeah. And it was delicious.
It was the bomb.
But was it government cheese? I think it was. Do they even make government cheese anymore?
Why would you give name brand cheese to your government organization, which is the school?
Right.
Like, why would you do that? If you're the government, why would you? And if you're what do you want to call it? Like a cafeteria manager of a school, and you're given a certain budget, and it's on you to order it. Why would you not? Why would you not order the cheapest stuff? Which that's what they do when they're on a budget. But when you are receiving these SNAP benefits and you're running up to your local grocery store, which let's just say you live in a small town, and you're running up to your local grocery store where the prices are 25 to 30 to even 50% higher because it's more convenient rather than driving a little distance and going to a Walmart or something where you might save some money, or an Aldi.
Yeah.
Aldi is like is all off brand, right? Like why are you not required to do that? Because the money that is on that card is not yours. You didn't earn it. You did nothing for it. Someone gave it to you. And those who pay taxes are happy to do it for those in need. Okay? Maybe not happy. Maybe happy is a strong word. But they are okay. They understand that is okay for a single mom who just lost.
I think a lot of people operate with a sense of like, well, it is reality.
Sure.
It is reality. It is
the
whether
world.
I agree with it or not. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's how some people. But it is a reality. So if it's the reality, it should go to those who truly need it. It shouldn't go to somebody like you're saying.
How dare you tell me? How dare you tell me that I can't decide what you buy with my money? How dare you? That's like handing a $20 bill to your children and saying, you're going to go to the book fair and I want you to spend this on books and not a bunch of the other crap, which these little toys and candy and all that stuff that they've got at a book fair.
I used to buy pencils with NFL teams on them.
That's great. That's great for you if your parents allow it. But I'm giving you $20 to go for the book fair, and I want you to spend this on a book. I don't want you to spend this on a bunch of crap. Same thing with any other time that you're instructing your children, because you are in control of it. That is your money. That is money that you earned. Mm-hmm. The government does not earn money. It is right now with these tariffs, but on average, most of the time the government works at a deficit on tariffs. So the government doesn't earn money. It collects money from people who earned it. And the government has agreed to give you a portion of that money that they've collected. And you're telling me that the government or the people who pay for it can't decide. We can't say, hey, we would like you to get the off-brand stuff because, number one, you don't have any reason to get Kellogg's cornflakes when you can get great value cornflakes. Yep. And number two, you can get a lot more food if you will get off-brand.
And it would be very easy to do with the barcoding system the way it is now. I
100%.
mean, it would literally, you could do it in no time.
Good grief, we're about to go to cashierless. We're already halfway there with self-checkout, but right now they're coming out with these grocery carts that everything you put in, it scans it. And if you take it out prior to getting to the checkout area, it deducts it. It has a running total.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. You can see how much money you've spent, how much you have left based off of your budget. But if you have an EBT, what do you care about budget?
That's
all
right.
you care about is there enough money on this card to pay for all this crap that I have? And you got people going through the checkout lines, getting these T-bone steaks, ribeyes, all of a pork butt or what, all these cuts of meat, and they get to just choose from it because somebody else is paying for it. Versus me or you who want to smoke something for the weekend, and we're looking at it and saying, do I get this lesser cut of meat because of my budget?
Yeah, I mean, you go to Sam's and you look at the prime briskets. For this time last year, prime brisket was like $3.86 a pound, and now it's like $7. It's insane.
It's twice as much.
There's this really, I don't even know if this was an anomaly, but for whatever reasons, at our local Sam's Club, they were selling choice brisket, which is still fine. You can still make choice brisket taste amazing. You just never want to get select. You never want to get select anything.
Yeah.
Choice or prime. But the choice brisket at Sam's last year was more expensive per pound than the prime, and to this day I don't understand why or how they did it. But I mean, it was consistently that way, or at least unless I misread something. But yeah, it is, and I'm okay with people with EBT actually getting cuts of meat because that assumes that they're actually going to have to cook it and do something like that.
Yeah.
But I know somebody who used to work at a grocery store, and it was it wasn't a big box store. It was a kind of a locally owned thing, and a lot of their clientele, most of their clientele was EBT, was food stamps, and you cannot buy dog food using your EBT card.
Yeah.
So they were buying ground meat for humans, but to feed their dogs. Like that's what they were doing, and so that's how this system is.
That's so messed up.
That's just one example, too.
Well, and you see all kinds of fraud too, where somebody's like, "All right, hey, I've got a party coming up, and I've got this $100, and you've got EBT. All right, if you'll go in there and buy me $150 worth of meat, I'll give you this $100 bill when you come out, right? And this is what I want you to get, da 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 da, whatever." And you're just looking at it and saying, "Well, that's just one case,
yeah."
Right? Because that's a business decision for somebody. They just got $50 worth of free meat, right? It was free. But that other person who can only buy food on there just got a $100 bill. It's a great system for
I've been
either
approached.
one.
Yeah, I've been approached to do that before.
Really?
Yeah, I was in a grocery store and somebody offered to, they wanted cash in exchange for the EBT. And they were willing to take a cut. They were willing to decrease the payment. I get more groceries, but then they get
because there's no advantage to give you there's no advantage to give you cash, for you to give them or you to give them cash if they give you a
it wasn't they were clearly making it better for me. I get more food, but I'm actually able to
right.
And obviously I said no, but because I knew you want to go buy drugs or you want to go buy some alcohol or whatever,
cigarettes, carton of cigarettes.
Yeah.
But anyway, negatively affected Walmart, negatively affect these grocery stores, but also think about these convenience stores that accept EBT. How many of those are going to be affected?
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I am appalled that the grocery stores are in such a bind. Like I'm appalled that this has happened to where they are now. I mean, according again Mark Mitchell, that they're going to operate in a negative operating margin if food stamps go away. That is unsustainable.
Right.
That we can't be a country and allow this to
I don't
continue.
I don't know what the math is, but 42 million people on SNAP. I don't know what's the average person get in SNAP benefits.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I think, I just say $1,000, $500 to $1,000.
Right. So you think about let's just call it $1,000 for easy math. It's not easy, but because 42 million times 1,000, what is that?
Would that be a billion? 42
we're in
billion?
the billions at that point. Yeah, for sure. So if somebody's watching this, drop that. I'd love for you to do the math on that. But yeah, you can imagine why Walmart and these other grocery stores are negatively affected when they've lost billions of dollars worth of influx.
Something's got to give. And so,
which also means too, Paul, and you bring this up, how much pressure are Walmart CEOs and all of these big companies that are negatively affected by this shutdown, how much pressure are they putting on the administration? Because Walmart is donating, the Waltons here in Arkansas are donating to these candidates. Like, how many of them are getting in the ear of these Democrat senators saying, next vote, you better be a yes vote?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Will this actually happen? I don't know. But if it does, if food stamps go away nationwide, just be careful at the grocery store, because I'm telling you, there's going to be, at the bare minimum, it'll be mass theft. And who knows? They might even shut the stores down and only move to online and put some security guards in the parking lot. I hope they don't do that, because I don't like shopping online. I've never done the pickup thing, even during COVID. I was maskless and I was going into the store.
You rebel!
I got those dirty looks. So, before we get to Donald Trump and his trade deals, did you see the story? I'm sure you had to have seen the story, Rob, about the NBA and the FBI arresting. And the huge schemes. You've got the mob families. You've got La Casa Nostra. You've got Chauncey Billups and other people that have essentially been busted in these. This is a huge scandal. And I didn't pull this clip, but it was the funniest thing when it was one of the ESPN. It was one of the Mikes. Remember Mike and Mike, but they're no longer. They're not together anymore. It was one of the Mikes. Was talking about what a big deal this was in gambling and how it is, an issue now that sports betting is legal and, there are these ramifications. Well, in the lower third, in the Chiron down at the bottom, it had, it was like ESPN bet bet $10, win $100. Like it was like right there.
Wow.
While they're having this big conversation.
Yeah.
And about 30 to 45 seconds in, when Mike, this guy, is like criticizing the environment
Yeah.
now that sports betting is legal,
That Chiron goes away.
they took it away, and there was nothing there. They replaced it with nothing.
Wow.
Just like a gray spot. So the production team realized the hypocrisy there, which I just thought was hilarious. And I didn't tweet this earlier, but as we were going into college football, because I have long, the college football weekend, I have long suspected, Rob, that a lot of these sports are rigged. I mean, it's really easy to do if you
NBA
think about
especially.
it. NBA, but I mean, even like in the NFL level, paying some offensive lineman to jump off sides at the right moment in a critical moment of the game. I mean, you're just having to find one starting, offensive lineman to do something like that. It would just be really easy. And then you think about some of these guys that do like to gamble. They get into gambling debt. They can't pay it back. Well, hey, come and meet with the mob boss here, and hey, this is what you're going to do to pay me back. You're going to start rigging games. I think that's what's going on. And I was thinking of when the college football weekend started, I said, you may be about to see the most fairly called games in college and NFL that we have seen
that's a good point.
forever, because you got to know if there's anything like this going on outside the NBA and anything others, people are scared to death.
Everybody's watching. They're minding their P's and Q's at this point. What was interesting, too, Paul, is that, Chauncey Billups being a head coach, but Terry Rozier, who is, a star guard for the Miami Heat here, they said, allegedly received about $200,000 for point shaving, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. Okay, he makes about $17-18 million a year. Somebody had done the math. I think it was Clay Travis with Outkick. Clay Travis did the math, and it was something like he makes $386,000 per game. So he is going to go to prison if he's convicted here, federal prison, right, which is 100% time. There is no early release on federal prison, under most circumstances. And he's going to do that for money that he made in about a half of basketball, one game.
So
how stupid can you be?
How much is enough?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's an addiction, like people like,
that's
you see people who are, very wealthy just completely lose everything because they're so addicted to gambling, and I don't want to make light of any sort of addiction, but I'm like, what is the thrill of it? Like when we've gone to Vegas once and all that stuff. Like, I've pulled the slot machines, and it's fun, but I'm not sitting here thinking, oh, I'm going to go empty out our savings account, into this ATM here. Like, I've never been that, but I understand that certain people do. But what is the thrill?
I'll tell you what it is. I think I can identify just a little bit. So I've been to Vegas once for work. Didn't do any gambling there because I was at a conference and it was just too busy, whatever. Did see this really crazy Cirque du Soleil type thing. It wasn't that exact. It was, amazing show. Yeah. Anyway, acrobatics like I've never seen before. Anyway, one time I went to Tunica, though. Tunica, Mississippi.
Oh,
right?
yeah, close by.
Yeah. So I went to Tunica probably 15 years ago. My wife growing up, her favorite band was Counting Crows. They were playing in Tunica, so I was like, all right, let's go see, the Counting Crows. All right. And so I had some time, it was there strictly for recreation, not for work. And I'm like, I've never gambled before. I don't know anything about it. I knew a little bit about blackjack, right? A little bit. So I sat down at the blackjack table, $5 table, and I immediately won, like $20, like over like a couple of hands.
Sure.
And I was just like looking at it, just kind of admiring how simplistically, like, I just won $20. And $20 is a lot to me now, and it was certainly a lot 15 years ago. And I just didn't know what to do, so I picked my chips up and I left. Because I was amazed. I was like, oh my gosh. And I immediately realized right then, okay, I could see how people could get addicted to it.
So I walked into Tunica once back in the day, and I was with my buddy and his dad. His dad used to go down there all the time, and he like got free hotel rooms. You know, they know what they're doing, right? They
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, we'd like to have you this weekend. You know, here's a free hotel room. Well, it's like, all right, come spend your money, right? Well, anyway, so we walk in and there's this slot machine that's Wheel of Fortune, right? And so if you win on the poll, you get to push the button and it does the Wheel of Fortune, something like that. Well, she won the grand prize, which was $25,000. Okay. Of course, at this point, by the machine is going off, so we're all like everybody's migrating close to her because you want to see that big victory, and it's like 25,000, 25,000, 25,000. Whatever. And the people came over. They confirmed that she won the $25,000. And I heard her telling someone, she goes, I just got here 5 minutes ago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And someone said, what are you doing now? She goes, I'm leaving. She goes, I'm leaving. And she goes, because if I stay, they're going to get it back. That's what she said.
That's exactly right.
And that's the key for it. Like, she was not the ideal client. Like, they let her have this big victory. Right. If you think they're not controlling slot machines, you're living in a dream world. But they let her have this big victory, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get $25,000 back and then some, and I may not get it back this time. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll get it back next time." She did what she's supposed to do. She cashed out and she left. But that's the kind of person who, ignored the call to. Maybe I can get 50,000.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I can turn this into 100,000. Right. And so you if you ever hear a casino ad on the radio or something, what do they say? Like, gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF or whatever it's called. So, you know, like I've heard it a million times.
They have to put that in there.
Right, they have to put it in there because there's so many people that struggle with the gambling addiction. So that's the only thing that makes sense for somebody that's making $17 million in a year to risk his entire livelihood and his freedom for something that he makes in a half of basketball.
They just like the thrill of it all. Yeah. So Stephen A. Smith, in response to Kash Patel's FBI doing this giant bust of the NBA, exposing it all, he's now claiming that there is a cultural conspiracy being carried out by President Trump against black sports organizations, and the Russians may be involved. Listen to Stephen A.
Are we back to the Russians?
You know what world that I live in terms of politics? How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. We'll say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl.
What does mass deportations have to do with, exposing and arresting a bunch of people for doing something illegal when it comes to rigging games?
And there are a lot of people who are upset that Bad Bunny is the Super Bowl performer when he performs in Spanish.
Yes, exactly.
And it's like, okay, you don't even speak English and you're the halftime performer.
I guess he's making the connection that NFL...
every time I think that he's left the liberal lunatic bin, he goes back and Trump is coming. Do you think...
You just never know. You never know if he's nervous.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, you don't know if he's got some connection, but at the very least, Chauncey Billups used to work for ESPN, if I'm remembering correctly. And so he might just be a friend of Stephen A. Smith, and so he's like, oh, this is Trump's fault. And I'm like, well, this sounds a whole lot like Republicans who used to blame Obama for everything.
Yeah.
Disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story.
Corruption.
Okay?
You're talking
Remember,
about
Trump has a
illegal
long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be, this was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Mm-hmm. Because when you got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know. We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, Anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today. I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we've seen that. We've seen people, we've seen accusations before. We've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before.
Garland was,
you don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets. This ain't the platform for me to get into it the way I'm going to.
I don't understand the point he's trying to make other than, I mean, I get it.
He's saying it's not legitimate. He's saying it's not legitimate, even though he's saying.
I think it's that he doesn't want them to look into the NFL and everything else. I think the cheating is so. If it's going on in the NBA, it is everywhere.
Stephen A. Smith is and has always been a basketball guy. So he comments on the NFL because they put him out there, but he's got a baseline level of understanding.
He tried to comment on the UFC, and then Joe Rogan was like, "You don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so Stephen A. Smith is, a great commentator. I mean, when he talks, people listen. But to say that this is President Trump sort of enacting some sort of vendetta against the NBA. And you're just like, okay, wait a minute. The NBA has been investigating this for 2 years.
Yeah, the FBI, but it started in Biden.
Yeah, but the NBA itself
I didn't realize
has been
that.
investigating this. And they cleared Terry Rozier of all of this stuff. But that investigation started two years ago. And you're just like, okay, well, does that mean that the FBI, who did not complete its investigation, who continued it once President Trump was in office, it didn't start, to your point. It didn't start whenever President Trump was coming in. So the FBI has concluded, yeah, we took this before a grand jury. These people have been indicted. They've now been arrested. So what's the difference between the FBI and the NBA? This is a huge black eye for the NBA. So of course they've cleared. Of course they've cleared them of no wrongdoing. They did not want this to exist. And so if the FBI is still actively investigating you and you're investigating it, we've cleared them of all wrongdoing in hopes that let's all drop this, guys.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Let's move on.
When you investigate yourself.
Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah. NCAA has done them
again.
many times.
I think we're about to see some of the most fair refereed games that we've seen in a long time. I think people are going to be really good moving forward.
And the mob is smart. They're going to lay low.
Yeah. So we've got like 3 minutes left, but this is great news. I thought this was a thread by Stern Drew, the day America became an empire again. This guy's really celebrating what happened. China controlling 80% of rare earth processing.
Used to make our chips. All that stuff.
Says Trump threatened 100% tariffs on $300 billion in Chinese exports. Beijing tried to flex, threatening to choke the global tech supply chain. He says over October 24th, 25th, 26th, you have Malaysia that signed a mineral pact with us. Thailand signs a processing deal. A framework was announced. China blinked. Hidden in the fine print, $13 billion Australian rare earth processing, Cambodia extraction rights, Japan's 2010 playbook revived. Result is that America's AI infrastructure, $350 billion worth, now decoupled from Beijing. This is what people are saying out there, that it was just a huge move. And, of course, the stocks, they responded accordingly. They went up. And so this is a big deal.
This is checkmate. This is checkmate. If this goes through, this is checkmate, because Trump fighting the number one superpower economically, fighting with the number two economic superpower, and the number two folded to Big Daddy. And that's what happened. There's no other way to put it around this. They folded, and our soybean farmers here in the United States are gonna reap the benefits.
Yeah,
of that.
I left that part out, but now soybeans can now be. China has said they're going to now buy American soybeans again.
There you go. So this is all positives, and the libs, the left is just licking their wounds and feeling frustrated that Trump keeps going out there and getting these victories.
And in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way.
Yeah.
Again, be careful at the grocery store if this happens. We're going to be back here tomorrow with the brand new show, 4 Central, 5 Eastern on X American News and across platforms. Don't forget to like this video if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really appreciate it. And if you want to support the program directly, you can become a subscriber to the Substack over at paultalkshow.substack.com. And I'll send you a copy of Left Wing Will and the Red Pill, the game that laughs at the left's expense. That is all the time that we have for this edition. Rob, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Glad to be here as always, Paul.
Folks, be safe. God bless.